Hello everybody, my name is Zen, and this is our Indie Game Spotlight, where this week we are taking a look at Bit.Trip presents Runner 2 Future Legend of Rhythm Alien, which is really hard to say. This game is a sequel to the first Bit.Trip Runner game, and both games are a score attack style side-scrolling running game. The whole point of the game is to get to the finish line while you're avoiding several types of obstacles and collecting all of the gold bars along the way. Some of the bars that you'll come across will actually be harder to get than others within the level, and the game's levels will actually often have you going down split paths, which have varying difficulty degrees, to get as many of the bars as you possibly can within the level. There are several collectible types in the various levels as well, and these are things such as keys or new costumes for the different characters that you're able to play as. Many of these different collectible types will be placed in one of the split paths that you'll come across, and it'll most likely be the harder of the two paths. You navigate these levels in multiple ways. Now, obviously the first is running, but the game does that for you, so you don't have to worry about it. But you can do things like sliding under different objects, flying tiger kick to break down obstacles, you can jump over objects or holes within the level, and you can go through loop-de-loops. You can also use these giant jump pads to soar over these death pits of doom. And these are just several ways that you can actually navigate through the levels while you're playing through the entirety of the game. As far as the progression of the game goes, it feels very reminiscent of Super Meat Boy. You go through the different stages in a predetermined path, unlocking secret levels, such as retro levels. Along the way, you get to the end of a zone, and once you get to the end of a zone, the theme will completely change as you go into a new zone. You'll also find a series of unlockables and secrets within the entirety of the levels as well. The idea and the concept of the game remains quite simple, but it is very well done, because anyone who picks up the game could just pick it up and play, and they'll feel right at home and be able to play through the game and enjoy it. But there is a huge skill ceiling, so the best players of the game will have a lot of fun figuring out how to be better and also trying to beat everybody else's score. Now, the people who just pick up to play because they want to play won't be able to do these kind of things, and in fact, I would suggest using a gamepad in order to get the best experience out of the game, because you'll need a lot of precision and the keyboard controls are a little clunky, but they are functional. The graphics themselves are very well presented, and they're not too distracting, which is always nice for these types of games where you have to focus a lot. And the graphics give just enough flair and color to the world to keep you interested in it without distracting from what you're trying to avoid. The story, though, well, it's interesting to say the least, and I can't really explain it as well as the narrator does.
When last we left Commander Video, his courageous contingent of charismatic compatriots was in hot pursuit of the fiendish Timbletot as they chased him into a realm above realms called the Hypersphere. It is at this moment, as if from nowhere, that a nefarious reality unfusion beam blindsides these 5 fearless friends. The always imperturbable Commander Video, shielding his elite assemblage of exceptional allies, takes the brunt of the blast and is sucked into an unknown dimension, a land of wondrous imagination found only at the apex of light and matter, a wavelength of the optical spectrum opened by the maniacal Timbletot to trap and enslave our gallant protagonist. Confused and companionless, our hero ponders his current position. The only thing that remains clear to him now is that he has fallen prey to a vulgar scheme full of villainy, which he must vanquish.
Overall, you can find the game on Steam for reasonably cheap. However, if you see it on sale, I would highly recommend picking it up without even giving it a second thought. The runner genre isn't necessarily something that I enjoy at all, but it has begun to pick up over the past year or two, and people are starting to enjoy it. Now, with that being said, I actually did like this game, which says a lot about it. and it may be kind of surprising to some of you who aren't into the runner series, kind of like I am. If you go onto the iOS platform, for example, there's just runner games everywhere. They're infinite runners, which you could just run forever and, you know, get as much score as you possibly can. Once again, that's something that I'm just not into. But Runner 2, Bit.Trip presents Runner 2, rather, is one of those games that will kind of hook you. And it'll catch your attention because it's not necessarily like those other games, even though it's kind of in the same genre. It's a mix between a score attack game and a runner game. On that note, though, we shall see you guys next time.